Hello everybody, I hope you're doing okay. I'm going to make another video today called Story Time with Teacher Ron. And today I'm reading a book called Mike Mulligan and the Steam Shovel, and it was written by Virginia Lee Burton. She also illustrated the story, so she wrote the words and she illustrated, okay? Illustrations, remember, are the people that do the pictures, and the author is the person that writes the word. So, this is the front cover, okay? I shouldn't read it like this because now it's upside down. So we'll turn it right side up. This is the front cover. If I turn it around, that's the back cover. And you can see her, the steam shovel, right there. This is called the spine. Okay? So we know the parts of the book. So let's open it up and see what it says. Also, this is the title page. Mike Mulligan and the Steam Shovel. Let's take a look at the steam shovel real quick. Right there, you see these things on the top of her head? Those are called teeth. And that goes down and it digs in the dirt, and then right there where her mouth is, that thing opens up and it dumps all the dirt out. So she digs a hole that way and then dumps it out the bottom into dump trucks. And then the dump trucks haul it away, and then they come back and she fills it up again. And that's how that works. The thing is, back in 1939, when this book first came out, steam shovels were pretty common. But about that time, they started making like gas-powered shovels, or excavators is what they're called now. And so they didn't use steam shovels as much. And so this book is kind of about that. Okay, so let's see what happens. Mike Mulligan had a steam shovel, a beautiful red steam shovel. Her name was Mary Ann. Mike Mulligan was very proud of Mary Ann. He always said that she could dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week. But he was never been quite sure that this was true. And there's Mike Mulligan, and there's Mary Ann. They look very happy. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann had been digging together for years and years. Mike Mulligan took such good care of Mary Ann, she never grew old. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who dug the great canals for the big boats to sail through. And here we have Mary Ann. She's digging a hole. And we have two big bodies of water here, and the boats are waiting. So he's digging a canal. And a canal is like a big ditch between two big bodies of water so that boats can go through. Instead of going all the way around, they dig a ditch, which is like a shortcut. And that's what a canal is. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who cut through the high mountains so that trains could go through. And here we have train going through, but Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann are cutting through it by digging, and pretty soon they laid the track and the train can go through. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who lowered the hills and straightened the curves to make the long highways for the automobiles. So here they are digging.
Here's your reminder. We're not supposed to feed the fish.
And these are automobiles. Have you ever heard that word, automobile? An automobile is just a long word for a car or a bus or a truck. Automobile. Can you say that? Try it. Automobile. It's a car. It's a truck or a bus. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who smoothed out the ground and filled in the holes to make the landing fields for airports. So there she is. There's a big hill. She's taking it down, making it smooth and making it flat and making it level so the airplanes can land on it. And it was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who dug the deep holes for the cellars of the tall skyscrapers in the big cities. When people used to stop and watch them, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann used to dig a little faster and a little better. The more people stopped, the faster and better they dug. Some days, they would keep as many as 37 trucks busy taking away the dirt they had dug. And here they are. A skyscraper, if you didn't know, is a tall building that goes way, way up in the sky in big cities. And they build them like that so that they're not laid out flat. They build them up tall so they take up less room. Those are skyscrapers. And there they are, digging a hole. All these people standing around watching. And look at this. There's a ramp that goes up, a ramp so they can get out once they've dug the hole. And the trucks come down, they get filled up with dirt, and then they go up the ramp, and away they go. And then they come back, and Mary Ann fills it up again, and out they go. Then along came the new gasoline shovels, and the new electric shovels, and the new diesel motor shovels, and took all the jobs away from the steam shovels. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann were very sad. And here we have the new machines, the gas-powered and the electric and the diesel-powered. See, the way a steam shovel works is they take something called coal and they burn it, and it heats up water, and the water and the steam they use as pressure to make it work, to make it go up and down and back and forth. It's pretty complicated. All the other steam shovels were being sold for junk or left out in the old gravel pits to rust and fall apart. Mike loved Mary Ann. He couldn't do that to her. He had taken such good care of her that she could still dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week. At least he thought she could, but he wasn't quite sure. Everywhere they went, the new gas shovels and the new electric shovels and the new diesel-motored shovels all had the jobs. No one wanted Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann anymore. Then one day, Mike read in a newspaper that the town of Popperville was going to build a new town hall. "We are going to dig the cellar of that town hall," said Mike to Mary Ann, and off they started. Here we have all the old steam shovels in a big junk pile. And there's Mike and Mary Ann. They're not having it. They don't want to do that. So, there he is reading the newspaper. And away they went. Let's see what happens next. They left the canals and the railroads and the highways and the airports and the big cities where no one wanted them anymore and went away out in the country. They crawled along slowly up the hills and down the hills till they came to the little town of Popperville. And there they are, in the little town of Popperville. Not a very big town. When they got there, they found that the selectmen, those are the men that pick who's going to do the job. They're called selectmen. That means they select or they pick who's going to do the job. When they got there, they found that the selectmen were just deciding who should dig the cellar for the new town hall. Mike Mulligan spoke to Henry B. Swap, one of the selectmen. "I heard," he said, "that you are going to build a new town hall. Mary Ann and I will dig the cellar for you in just one day." "What?" said Henry B. Swap. "Dig a cellar in a day? It would take 100 men at least a week to dig the cellar for our new town hall." By the way, a cellar is like a basement, okay? "Sure," said Mike, "but Mary Ann can dig as much in a day as 100 men can dig in a week." Though he had never been quite sure that this was true, then he added, "If we can't do it, you won't have to pay." Henry B. Swap thought that this would be an easy way to get part of the cellar dug for nothing, so he smiled in a rather mean way and gave the job of digging the cellar to the new town hall to Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. And there they are. They started in early the next morning, just as the sun was coming up. Soon, a little boy came along. "Do you think you will finish by sundown?" he said to Mike Mulligan. "Sure," said Mike, "if you stay and watch us. We always work faster and better when someone is watching us." So, the little boy stayed to watch. And there's the little boy. He's got a dog with him. And there they are, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, just getting started. And if you look, you can see these 4 corners. That's how big the hole is going to be. Then Mrs. McGillicuddy, Henry B. Swap, and the town constable came over to see what was happening, and they stayed to watch. You ever heard of a town constable? That's another word for a cop. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dug a little faster and a little better. There's Mrs. McGillicuddy, Henry B. Swap, and the constable. And there they are, just getting started. Still morning time. This gave the little boy a good idea. He ran off and told the postman with the morning mail, the telegraph boy on his bicycle, the milkman with his cart and horse, the doctor on his way home, and the farmer and his family coming into town for the day, and they all stopped and stayed to watch. They made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig a little faster and a little better. They finished the first corner neat and square, but the sun was getting higher. But clang, 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 the fire department arrived. They had seen the smoke and thought there was a fire. Then the little boy said, "Why don't you stay and watch?" So the fire department of Popperville stayed to watch Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. When they heard the fire engine, the children in the school across the street couldn't keep their eyes on their lessons. The teacher called a long recess, and the whole school came out to watch. That made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig a little faster and a little better. They finished the second corner neat and square, but the sun was right up in the top of the sky. Look, there's the fire department. Back then, the fire trucks came pulled by horses, or horse-drawn, they used to call that. And here's the sun higher up in the sky. And all these people are watching. And look, they got this corner work done and this corner. They still have a lot to go, don't they? Now the girl who answers the telephone called up the next towns of Bangerville and Bopperville and Kipperville and Copperville and told them what was happening in Popperville. All the people came over to see if Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel could dig the cellar in just one day. The more people came, the faster Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dug. But they would have to hurry. They were only halfway through, and the sun was beginning to go down. They finished the third corner neat and square. I'm going to hold this one back so you can see all these people coming in to watch as they dig. She's working really hard. And there's the sun traveling across the sky. Never had Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann had so many people to watch them. Never had they dug so fast and so well, and never had the sun seemed to go down so fast. "Hurry, Mike Mulligan, hurry, hurry," shouted the little boy. "There's not much more time." Dirt was flying everywhere, and the smoke and steam were so thick that the people could hardly see anything. But listen. Bing, bang, crash, slam. Louder and louder, faster and faster. There she is. She's moving as fast as she can. And there's the sun. Seems to be going down. Then suddenly, it was quiet. Slowly, the dirt settled down, the smoke and steam cleared away, and there was the cellar, all finished. 4 corners, neat and square, 4 walls, straight down, and Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann at the bottom, and the sun was just going down behind the hill. "Hooray!" shouted the people. "Hooray for Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel! They have dug the cellar in just one day." There they all are, standing around, cheering on Mike Mulligan and the steam shovel. And there's the hole. I wonder if you guys can notice what's going to happen next. Suddenly, the little boy said, "How are they going to get out?" "That's right," said Mrs. McGillicuddy to Henry B. Swap. "How is he going to get his steam shovel out?" Henry B. Swap didn't answer, but he smiled in a rather mean way. Then everybody said, "How are they going to get out?" "Hi, Mike Mulligan. How are you going to get your steam shovel out?" Mike Mulligan looked around at the 4 square walls and the 4 square corners, and he said, "We've dug so fast, and we've dug so well that we've quite forgotten to leave a way out." Nothing like this had ever happened to Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann before, and they didn't know what to do. There they all are. And there are these guys, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, stuck down in a hole. How are they going to get out? Let's find out. Nothing like this had ever happened before in Popperville. Everybody started talking at once, and everybody had a different idea, and everybody thought that his idea was the best. They talked, and they talked, and they argued, and they fought till they were worn out. And still, no one knew how to get Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann out of the cellar they had dug. Then Henry B. Swap said, "The job isn't finished. Mary Ann isn't out of the cellar, so Mike Mulligan won't get paid." And he smiled again in a rather mean way. Not a very nice guy, is he? Now, the little boy, who had been keeping very quiet, had another good idea. He said, Why couldn't we leave Marianne in the cellar and build the new town hall above her? Let her be the furnace for the new town hall and let Mike Mulligan be the janitor. Then you wouldn't have to buy a new furnace and we could pay Mike Mulligan for digging the cellar in just one day. Is that a good idea? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We're almost to the end of the book. Here they all are arguing, trying to figure out how to get him out. And here's the little boy. Very smart little boy. Why not? Said Henry B. Swap, and he smiled in a way that was not quite so mean. Why not? Said Mrs. McGillicuddy. Why not? Said the town constable. Why not? Said all the people. So they found a ladder and climbed down into the cellar to ask Mike Mulligan and Marianne. Why not? Said Mike Mulligan. So it was decided, and everybody was happy. They built the new town hall right over Mike Mulligan and Marianne. It was finished before winter. Every day, the little boy goes over to see Mike Mulligan and Marianne, and Mrs. McGillicuddy takes him nice hot apple pies. That sounds good. As for Henry B. Swap, he spends most of his time in the cellar of the new town hall listening to the stories that Mike Mulligan has to tell and smiling in a way that isn't mean at all. Oh, let's show you the picture. Sorry. There's the new town hall. They're building it. And there it is, all finished. Does it look warm or cold out there? It's wintertime, so it's probably cold. Plus the ground is white. There's snow everywhere. Now, when you go to Popperville, be sure to go down in the cellar of the new town hall. There, they'll be Mike Mulligan and Marianne, Mike in his rocking chair, smoking his pipe, and Marianne beside him, warming up the meetings in the new town hall. And that's the end of our story. But I do want to show you this picture here. This is the smokestack. This is the cab where Mike Mulligan sits. This is the coal burner. They put coal in there and it burns and the smoke comes out here. These are called caterpillars because they crawl. This is the boom that goes up and down. These are the teeth right at the top, like I told you. This is the dipper. It's like a bucket that goes down. It goes down and it picks up the dirt. This is the tongue. It opens up and goes down and all the dirt that's in here dumps out. That's a trip line. The crowd lever, the hoist lever makes it go up. The trip lever makes it comes down. And the swing lever makes it go back and forth like that. So, that's the end of our story. I hope you liked it. I enjoyed reading that book. Now, it's kind of a long story, so you can pause it if you need to. Of course, I should have said that in the beginning, huh? Have a good day, everybody.